Hello, and welcome to the Feeling Good podcast, where you can learn powerful techniques to change the way you feel. I am your host, Dr. Rhonda Borowski, and joining me here in the Murrieta studio is Dr. David Burns. Dr. Burns is a pioneer in the development of cognitive behavioral therapy and the creator of the new team therapy. He is the author of Feeling Good, which has sold over 5 million copies in the United States and has been translated into over 30 languages. His latest book, Feeling Great, contains powerful new techniques that make rapid recovery possible for many people struggling with depression and anxiety. Dr. Burns is currently an emeritus adjunct professor of clinical psychiatry at Stanford University School of Medicine.
You guys are really funny.
Hello, Rhonda.
Hello, David, and welcome to all our listeners around the world, in this country and throughout the galaxy. This is the Feeling Good podcast, and this is episode 375. And while we have a full episode planned, we also have a very delicious guest, Jacob Towery, who's going to be talking to us about his free upcoming 2-day workshop that he's entitled Finding Humans Less Scary. Hi, Jacob.
Awesome.
Hi, thank you, Rhonda and David, for having me. I think probably my left arm is the most delicious, but other parts of my body are somewhat flavorful, but I recommend people try the left arm.
Left. That will fit in. So Jacob, tell us about what Finding Humans Less Scary is all about.
Yeah, so with David's help, last year we premiered this event, which we're calling Finding Humans Less Scary. And we had about 90 participants and about 10 co-therapists. And the whole weekend was designed to help people overcome social anxiety. And we had a lot of fun, and people seemed to really enjoy it. And perhaps even more important, a number of people said it changed their life. It was transformative. People have emailed Michael Luo and I throughout the year saying how much it's helped them or ways they've noticed their lives being better. So that's been extremely rewarding. And we decided we wanted to do it again. So we're doing at least one more round, March 16th and 17th of 2024. And if people want to sign up, they can go to findinghumanslessscary.com.
And what is that, a Saturday, Sunday event again?
Saturday, Sunday. Yes, we're going to pack in about 15 hours of material into a weekend.
That's exciting. Now, let's say I've got social anxiety and I need a transformative thing to change my life on March 16th and 17th. I'm sure anything with that kind of quality is very expensive. How costly is this?
We're charging $17,000 for the first 10 minutes, but then if you stay beyond 10 minutes,
the rest is a discount. Yeah,
the rest is $16,000 per 10 minutes.
Yeah, yes,
so the whole
fantastic.
thing will be $26.9 million, but we think it's still a good value, and we wanted to make it available to any billionaires within the Palo Alto area.
Yeah, right. But what's the actual?
The actual cost is $0. We are asking people to make a $20 or more donation to one of the listed charities. So I took your advice, and instead of coming up with a controversial charity, which would have been easy, we've got Doctors Without Borders, Save the Children, Give Well. We've got some really good charities that help a lot of people and are pretty non-controversial. And people can, of course, make a much bigger donation. We want it to be a fundraiser too, but we thought at $20, that will keep it pretty accessible for people. And we will get $0. And we want to make it affordable for anyone who wants to join.
Yeah, it just sounds fantastic. You're one of the top experts in the world on the treatment of social anxiety. I should say the rapid and profoundly effective treatment of social anxiety. And at no cost. They always say the best things in life are free or nearly free. And this is certainly one of the best things in life. If you're listening and you're struggling with social anxiety, there's 5 kinds of social anxiety. Should we see if we can name them?
Yeah, I don't even know if I can name all of them. I might be able to name a few, but we could get started. One of them
Sure.
has with the bladder. That's one I probably don't spend a lot of time focusing with people, but if they have trouble urinating and
Shy bladder. I've had that one. Public speaking anxiety.
Yep.
Just shyness per se, getting
Yeah.
awkward and dating or around strangers. That's
I don't know if we
probably
put performance anxiety in a separate one or if we link it with public speaking.
no. That's a separate one. Yeah, performance anxiety. Um, and let's see. There's shy bladder, performance anxiety. Oh yeah, just shyness. And what's the other one? Test anxiety is considered.
Yeah.
Um,
We decided we're just going to do test anxiety for that weekend. So we brought 17 different SAT tests, and we're just going to have people take SAT tests for 7 hours the first day and 8 hours the second day. So it's going to be really exciting. Come with a number 2 pencil, and we're just going to be all about the test anxiety.
And for a shame attacking exercise, you have to announce your score in public.
Okay.
Well, tell us a little about it. I know it's going to be tremendous fun and zany, but serious business, and the business of learning not to be so anxious. I've had all of these forms of social anxiety, and I know how miserable and intense they can be, and lonely too. Can you tell us about some of the fun and amazing stuff that will be happening in these two action-packed, laugh-filled, tears-filled, wonderful days?
Yeah, Rhonda was there when we did it this year, and she was awesome. I think it will be all of the things you said. I think a lot of people do suffer from social anxiety, and they feel lonely, and it can be very disabling and very isolating for people. So we want to acknowledge that and make room for people to acknowledge that it's a very potentially disabling disorder. And also people can make profound progress in changing it very quickly. That's one of my favorite things about it, is you get to see real quick change. So a lot of people were really brave this year and worked on their performance anxiety. So we had people come up and play musical instruments. We had people show their art. We had a very brave teenager who was worried she might look foolish when she was running hurdles. So I had her run some imaginary hurdles for everyone to watch, and she did awesome with it. And we had people conquer some of their public speaking anxieties. We did a ton of activities, practically all of them I learned from you. So we're going to make it even more behavioral this year. We had a big cognitive component this year. Next year, I think we're going to be super behavioral. We'll add in some rejection training. So we'll hit the streets of Palo Alto and do some rejection training, plus smile and hello practice and shame attacking exercises and self-disclosure and lots of fun stuff. So I think it's going to be a really cool weekend.
That's really neat. I'm doing a social anxiety talk with Jill at the Evolution of Psychotherapy conference in Anaheim in December, and she reminded me of something that's just super obvious if you do the downward arrow, the interpersonal downward arrows, that there's two components to shyness. One is the component that, I'm not interesting enough and people will reject me and I'm not good enough and all of that kind of thing. But the other half of that coin is related to the title of your workshop. I'm assuming that people are very hostile and judgmental and that it's dangerous in the world. And so I think two of the things that people can discover with this kind of training is not only that you can suddenly find the courage and the ability to talk to people, strangers, and form warm, close connections, but also, although these days we see the horrors happening all around the world, the wars, the hatred that's building politically and internationally and across religious groups, there's still, most human beings are tremendously kind and warm and welcoming. And that's one of the beautiful things about getting over your shyness, your social anxiety. Suddenly a beautiful world filled with beautiful people opens up. And it's like magic, really.
Yeah, well said. I agree with all of that. And I should run soon, but I'll say in addition to that, I think that it's so tempting for us to other people and to find, oh, this person is different from me in this way or different from me in that way and bad in this way and bad in that way. And I think that leads to tremendous, tremendous problems. So one of the messages of Finding Humans Less Scary is another option is to focus on what are the things that you have in common with other people, what are the things you can like and appreciate about other people. And when you do that, there's no need to other people and put them in groups of bad categories, which leads to hate and violence and all sorts of problems. So
yeah.
I'm also hoping there's kind of a ripple effect in terms of how people experience the world themselves, but also how they treat other people, which can affect how those people treat other people. So we're hoping for a big effect.
That's really neat. Another thing that Jill was emphasizing that I thought was really helpful is that when you're shy, you're thinking you're not interesting enough, and so you're worried about impressing other people, which never works, and virtually always leads to rejection. And again, just a simple thing that she said, and it's probably not even original with her, I don't know, but she said the secret of being a social butterfly is not to be interesting, but to be interested.
Absolutely.
And just such a subtle thing. And then there's the talk show host technique. And really the secret of talking to strangers is to express an interest in them and compliment them and ask them and express an interest in who they are and what they're doing. And it's a very simple concept, which a lot of shy people would dismiss before you've totally grasped it, but it can be mind-blowing and life-changing. And I just know that you combine three things, brilliant therapeutic skills, a zany and fantastic sense of humor, and the creative ability to make the serious fun and funny. And among other things, you're the world's top shame attacking expert and shame attacker. We've had so many wonderful times together. The Stanford Shopping Center and other places doing zany things in public. It's really a chance to uncork your humanness, your joy, your love, your creativity. Don't miss these 2 days. Now, just to make sure people understand that's March 16th and 17th, 2024. That's a Saturday, Sunday. It's a 2-day workshop. And where is it going to be?
So the location will be revealed to those who register. So we'll say it's in Palo Alto, California, but we're being very selective. So even though this is going out to the galaxy, you have to be an Earth dweller if you want to come to this. We discriminate against non-Earth dwellers unless you have a fun outfit. Then you can be from outside of Earth and we'll still accept you.
So where do I go and find the information?
Yeah,
if I want to go?
findinghumanslessscary.com. So if you go to findinghumanslessscary.com, it's going to be first come, first served. We'll take up to 100 people, and we're excited to see you if you register.
Okay, and is that one word, Finding Humans Less Scary, all strung together?
All strung together.
FindingHumansLessScary.com. And is that KOM?
.com with a silent Q at the end and a silent W in the middle. So
that's beautiful.
We wanted to just make it simple and easy, no confusion.
FindingHumansLessScary.com. Check it out, folks. The best things in life are free. And this is even better than free because you can give to the charity of your choice, just $20 and help someone out who's hungry, and you'll be in and have 2 of the best days of your life. So thank you, Dr. Jacob Towery.
Thank you for the kind words, David. Thank you guys for having me. You're still the greatest mentor I've ever had, and I'm honored to be on the podcast. So thank you guys. Have a great day.
You're brilliant and a good friend. And have a great one. Thanks.
Thank you. You too.
Bye, Jacob. Thanks.
Bye.
Well, we just said goodbye to Jacob Towery, and now we are saying hello to two other guests. We have Brittany here, who is a really great listener. She was on our podcast about 2 years ago. And we're going to be talking to her about her relationship journal that she created regarding a conversation she had with her husband. And we also have our beloved Matt May, who's here to join us with his wisdom. Hi, Matt.
Hey, Rhonda, David, Brittany, great to be here again. Thank you so much for having me back.
Yeah, it's always a fantastic joy and a special event when you're with us on a podcast, Matt.
I feel the same way about both all of you, and great to be here. And Brittany, you're from Indiana, is that right? And are experiencing some snow today?
Yeah, pretty cold here.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I wanted to invite Brittany to the show, both because you were on once before and you were absolutely fantastic. I think it might have started as an Ask David episode, but it was on the problem of jealousy. And you, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And you were just so vulnerable and open and fantastic. It was just a delight to meet you then and to work with you. And I thought, well, wow, here's another chance to work with Brittany. And lately we've been working a little bit on interpersonal issues, and people seem to like it when we illustrate the 5 secrets of effective communication with actual problems that people really have. And you can learn how the intimacy drill works, but also what it means to fine tune your 5 secrets skills. And I thought we could go over the conflict and the problem you were having with your husband, and we kind of debugged it almost before I saw your beautifully done relationship journal. But I think once you figure out things on paper and put in the time and energy to write an effective response to someone that you're in conflict with, then role play is what brings it up to the next level. And so I thought we could do some of that today and show people how that intimacy drill works. And this would be intended for the general public and for therapists as well, today's episode, because learning the 5 secrets of effective communication is as important for therapists and as difficult for therapists as for anyone else. And I'll tell you in advance that Brittany is a smart and talented lady who puts a lot of effort into things. And so she might make it look simple, but it's not. And it's the 5 secrets of effective communication is what the world desperately needs, but it's very challenging. And we all struggle with it because of the human tendency to get defensive and argumentative and to fall into an infinite number of traps that humans fall into. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about the kind of conflict that you're having with your husband, and then we'll bring it to life.
Sure. Well, yeah, I had noticed my husband seemed kind of down lately, so I asked him, what had been bothering him, and pretty much, said he's just really frustrated by just the media, portraying things different ways than what he feels like is the truth, and just kind of that he feels like he has no one really to talk to about when it comes to politics, because I don't really follow it very closely. And he just feels like it's one of those hot button issues that a lot of people don't want to discuss. And so he said he was feeling pretty isolated and alone when it came to that. And I was listening to him kind of vent about it, but I felt like I was doing a really poor job at listening, because I kind of just felt like I was being a parrot, just repeating back to him what he said and just kind of throwing in a yeah, that must be frustrating kind of every once in a while. And I could tell he was just getting like more and more upset that I was not making it any better. So that's why I reached out.
Yeah. Yeah. We corresponded a little bit about that. And that's, you see I'll put the 5 secrets in the show notes, but there's the 3 listening skills, the self-expression skill, and the stroking or respect skill. And I think about them as EAR, learn to talk with your EAR, empathy, assertiveness, and respect. And there's 3 empathy skills, the disarming technique, it's finding truth in what the other person is saying. Thought and feeling empathy, that's acknowledging what they said, what are their words, repeating their words, and acknowledging how they're likely feeling. And inquiry, asking simple probing questions to gain more information and to see if you're reading the other person right. That's EAR, the 3 listening skills: disarming, thought and feeling, empathy, and inquiry. Then the A, the assertiveness skill, is I feel statements, such sharing your own feelings openly and vulnerably, rather than acting them out in some angry way. And then the respect, R equals respect, is stroking. That means saying something warm or caring or loving to the other person. And you can be loving and respectful even in the heat of battle, and even when you're feeling angry. And one of our recent podcasts was how to express anger in a healthy as opposed to an aggressive manner. So your husband was down, and it sounds like he has a kind of a conservative political bent. Is that correct?
I mean, I don't think he really leans one way or another. He's kind of an independent thinker.
Oh, okay. But he was thinking that some of the news stations on television were slanting things in ways that weren't entirely accurate.
Yeah.
What channel was he complaining about? Was it more of a CNN complaint or more of a Fox News complaint?
Yeah, I think kind of Fox News, just all the mainstream media, because he does a lot of like researching and through Twitter and kind of finding like, all kinds of articles that aren't really portrayed in the mainstream media.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he's unhappy with Fox. And what he said to you, which you wrote down here, is nobody is doing anything to help these people, not even you. And who were these people that he's referring to?
Just the people affected by the wars going on overseas.
And so, he's showing a lot of heart to respond to suffering, with being concerned that people aren't being helped. And you thought that he was feeling, you circled the emotions you thought he was having, was sad, blue, depressed, down, unhappy, guilty, inferior, worthless, inadequate, defective, incompetent, lonely, unloved, unwanted, rejected, alone, abandoned, hopeless, discouraged, pessimistic, despairing, frustrated, stuck, thwarted, defeated, angry, mad, resentful, annoyed, irritated, and upset and furious. So that's the first step in a relationship journal, is write down one thing that the other person said to you, and then there's all these emotions, and you can circle the ones you think the other person might have been feeling. And then step 2, and what I'm suggesting to you who are listening, is if you really want to radically change the way you communicate with loved ones or friends or even enemies, this writing things down, it's not that hard. It doesn't take that long, and it will really highlight exactly what errors you might be making and why things aren't working well. And you said, when he said that, you said, well, there's not much we can do from here. And that seems reasonable enough. And when you said that, you were feeling inferior, worthless, inadequate, defective, incompetent, lonely, unloved, unwanted, rejected, alone, embarrassed, foolish, humiliated, self-conscious, frustrated, stuck, thwarted, defeated, and annoyed. So both you and your husband were feeling tremendous amounts of emotion that wasn't being acknowledged or expressed. And then that's steps 1 and 2. And step 3 of the relationship journal, you use the good and bad communication, the EAR checklist. And the first question, you look at your own response and say, how did I do on empathy? And you indicated that your empathy was bad because you didn't you ignored your husband's feelings, or argued. And you can argue and insist the other person is wrong. And in bad communication, you don't acknowledge the other person's mindset or how they're feeling. You did it in a kind of superficial way, like there's not much we can do from here. But he had at least 10 or 15 negative emotions that you didn't acknowledge. And then in assertiveness, A equals assertiveness, that's where you express your feelings openly and in a vulnerable way, in a respectful way. And you gave yourself a bad communication on that too, because you really hadn't shared any of your own 10 or 15 feelings. And then step 3, R equals respect. You gave yourself a bad communication on that too, because you didn't convey respect or caring. Now, the EAR checklist is pretty easy to do, and almost everyone will, if there's a conflict you're having with someone, when you look at what you said to the other person, you'll find all 3 communication errors almost every single time. But the real key to this is step 4, consequences. What's the impact of the comment that you made to the other person? What will he or she or they conclude? How will they feel? And you wrote a pretty courageous thing here. I didn't acknowledge their feelings, or in this case, my husband's feelings. I tried to shut down the conversation. I did not use any I feel statements. And then the question would be, how will that, you see, his theme is nobody cares about how I feel, right?
Right.
And then how will your response affect his point of view?
Yeah, it definitely made him not want to talk to me anymore about it.
Yeah, but why is it, and I'm just asking to spell out something pretty obvious, but sometimes listeners might not exactly catch on.
So what exactly was the...
Why does he not, why would he not want to talk to you?
Oh, because he doesn't feel understood.
Right. Now, when you did that analysis, was that painful for you or easy or?
It was surprisingly easy, and it was nice because it was like so obvious right away. It was like, well, but I didn't even need to write to Dr. Burns, because if I had done this, I would have seen immediately my mistake.
Yeah. Well, you have a wonderful non-defensive attitude. And 2 years ago when you were on the show, you were the same way, which is really neat to see, especially since so few people are non-defensive, and that's really cool. And so I was just thinking that we might just try to do a little role playing here. In the step 5, you do a revised version with the 5 secrets of effective communication. And your initial one here was pretty good. I definitely gave you a B+ on it and suggested some refinements. But your improved version of responding to him was just when your husband says, nobody's doing anything to help these people, not even you. Well, he's sounds pretty mad at you, and you could say, you're right, I'm not doing anything. I feel embarrassed that I don't know much about this subject. I can see the subject is really important to you, and it's causing a lot of frustration, maybe even a bit annoyance at me for being ignorant of what's happening. Can you tell me about what it is like not feeling supported on this? I would actually give that probably higher than a B plus. Maybe. What do you say, Matt or Rhonda?
Rhonda, do you want to go first?
Well, I love your humbleness. And like David said, you're just so willing to take responsibility and not blame your husband. You just did just a beautiful job with disarming him, but immediately telling him that he was right and you're not doing anything. It was a very heartfelt, I feel statement that you feel embarrassed and you acknowledge that he's probably feeling frustrated and annoyed at you for being ignorant about what's happening. And it was a very open-ended inquiry to just ask him for more information about what it's like not feeling supported about this. I would just love to see a little tiny bit more stroking and some comments about love and affection or respect toward him. And then I would definitely give it an A.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's great feedback. How about you, Matt?
Yeah, I liked your response as well. Anytime you're starting out by saying you're right, that's a pretty good beginning of a disarming statement. When you said I'm not doing anything, that also captured his thought in a very precise way. So that was thought empathy. Also, I think you said that you initiated the conversation. So you had noticed that he was down and you've asked him how he was doing and what was going on for him. And then you also repeated the inquiry at the end. Can you tell me more about what it's been like not feeling supported on this? And I like that a lot. Interestingly, the one thing that stood out to me, I like that you expressed feeling embarrassed and acknowledged his frustration. I think the disarm, it wasn't, so I think his accusation was that you weren't doing anything about it, and you're describing not knowing much about it. And it might be a more precise and alleviate some of the tension even more if you acknowledge that you haven't, like, it's not only the lack of knowledge about this topic, but it's been a lack of something else that he's wishing more people would do. How does that feedback land with you, Brittany? And does it?
Yeah, I think you're right. I agree with Rhonda that it could have used more stroking, and also what you said, because I didn't really. I was kind of just focusing on me, like I'm not learning enough about what's going on, but I should probably also say something about other people too, or just I could understand your frustration that other people are also not following this as closely as you are, or something like that.
Yeah, and we can all get kind of wrapped up in our own day-to-day lives and activities, and if people are on the other side of the world, it's kind of like it's weird. But even if they're being tortured or something like that, it's somehow, I think maybe it's a problem with human psychology is that we'll kind of like, well, I've got to kind of focus on my own life and what I'm doing today, just keeping my nose above water, and I haven't made an effort to do something about that suffering, and that's so disturbing. And I'm glad that you're disturbed by that. I think that's a huge problem, and that your husband seems like a very moral person, a very caring person. He wants collaboration and for help to arrive when it's needed, when people are suffering. So he seems like a pretty good guy to me.
Yeah.
That's great feedback. You want me to throw in my 2 cents worth, then we can do our role play?
I'd love to hear your point.
Of course we do.
What else can you possibly say? No, David, you're elderly. You're not interested. You talk too much.
David,
you're half demented. I'm so impressed with what you did. I also like to bring it down to the personal level, and to get more linkage between the two of you on an emotional level. and to say I feel embarrassed that I don't know much about the subject, and there's horrible suffering in the world that I'm not. You're right. I'm not doing anything, and most people are not, and it's pretty horrible. But in addition, I sense that you're feeling kind of lonely right here, right now with me, and that I haven't been doing a good job of providing warmth and love and caring and listening and connecting with you. And I wouldn't be surprised if you're feeling pretty damn lonely and hurt and disappointed in me. And I'm so sad about that, because I do love you so much, and to be honest, I've been feeling kind of lonely too. And if you tell me more about that, I would just be so grateful. Even if you're mad or pissed off at me, I want to hear, because I think talking about this can bring us a whole lot closer. How was that?
That was great.
Uh-huh. Why?
I just felt so much humility the way you said it. It felt just so natural and genuine.
Yeah. Yeah. And the goal of our podcast, by the way, and Rhonda did a great job of reminding me and making sure we stay on track. We're not interested in making political comments. There's so much hurt on every side in the world right now. But to really talk about how we can be loving toward one another in the way we communicate, and that's not always easy. We give a lot of lip service, the Beatles song, all we need is love type of thing, but it seems like most people don't know how to be loving, and the rest don't want to. So there's not a lot of loving conversation all the time. Let's would it make a little sense to practice and say Matt can be your husband, and see how you do on an actual role play?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll kick into husband gear here, and I'm poring over my phone and getting upset about current events, how they're being portrayed in the media, and I look at you and I say, nobody is doing anything to help these people, not even you.
Yeah, I'd say, you're right. I haven't been following many current events closely, and I can absolutely see how you'd be, frustrated by me and others who don't follow it very closely. And there's a lot of important things to talk about regarding it and the suffering in the world. And I hate to see you feeling this way, because, I love you so much, and I can see how much it affects your heart, the suffering of others. And I hope, you're not too upset with me, that you'd be willing to tell me more. Can you tell me, how you've been feeling when I don't have much to contribute to the conversation?
Yeah, I would say if I feel like drawn to you, and like I would want to continue that conversation. I really liked the inquiry at the end about what that's like for me, and the interest that you're showing in the topic. I like that you acknowledge some feelings of frustration that I'm having. I thought you did a good job of disarming and saying you're right, and that there is a tremendous amount of suffering in the world. When you said, I think this is overall good. You said something like, I hate to see how much this affects you. There was a little bit of an element where my ears pricked up, and I wondered if he could possibly feel like, oh, is she saying I'm too emotional?
Oh, yeah, like he shouldn't be affected.
Yeah, and so you could even turn that on its head and say, I'm really glad that this is upsetting to you. It shows just how much you care, and I really like that about you. And you said something interesting. Like you said, I hope you're not too upset that you wouldn't want to talk to me about it. And I think that could also have a little bit of a problem attached to it, which is then he might not feel safe talking about some of the feelings. Like if he were really upset. I'm wondering if we could edit that to, I'm wondering how if you're feeling angry with me or disappointed in me, you might even feel pissed off at me. And I'd want to talk with you about that. That's so important. Could you tell me more?
Yeah, I agree. That's much better. When I said it, I was like, oh, I don't like when I said that.
Yeah, that's why we do the practice. Like we can get the intellectual understanding, but the actual implementation of the 5 secrets is really challenging.
It is.
So what grade did you give Brittany?
Oh, I didn't give a grade. I would give an A. I think I'm talking about. I think I'm talking about things to bring it up to an A plus.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. How about what was your feedback, Rhonda?
I just loved when you said, "I hate to see you suffering," and then you said something about suffering your heart, and I thought that was such a beautiful stroking and acknowledgement that he's a caring person.
Oh yeah.
And it seems clear that you really know him very well from that statement. And, Matt's, your feedback was so nuanced and interesting. I'm learning too, as we're going through this. That's the only thing I would really want to say, on top of what Matt said, Brittany, but I thought that I would also give you an A for that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Wow. Awesome. Well, we're done. Hope you enjoyed the podcast.
Well, David, what about your feedback?
Oh, I thought it was great, and I thought both you and Matt added nice dimensions. But I started out on an A on that one also, and for most people, a B is way better than anything they've ever gotten in their life so far. So you're well above that standard with these beautiful things. Can you give us any other examples of things he says that you've had to respond to, challenges or do you want to try it again or do a role reversal on that one? Are you satisfied on that one?
Well, I wouldn't mind hearing like your response to it. I mean, you always have better ones than me.
Oh, the analysis of yours?
Well, I mean, like I said it to you and then you respond.
Oh, you want me to do it? Okay. Yeah. Tell me exactly what you want me to say. You can change it a little bit if you want. Make it.
I think she wants you to play her.
Yeah.
I'm going to play you.
Yeah.
Okay, and you be him. Oh, okay, sure.
Are we doing the same example or?
Any way you want to set it up. We're just here to keep people from turning off their podcast.
Okay, so nobody's doing anything to help these people, not even you.
Just let me write it down. Anything to help these people, not even you. We want a really high-powered response?
Yeah.
Okay. Screw you, asshole. Okay, that's just my dark humor there.
I think that was an I feel statement.
Yeah. That was unhealthy anger. Oh, okay. Wow. I'm feeling really hurt and ashamed right now because I agree with you, and I haven't been tuning in to all the horrible suffering that's going on in the world, and you've opened your heart, and you're just concerned because a lot of other people, me in particular, don't seem to care. And I can imagine how hurt and lonely and angry you're feeling and disappointed in me. And I've been feeling kind of lonely and hurt too, not as close to you as I want, because I love you so much. And maybe you can tell me more about that. And you're waking me up to something important. That there's horrible suffering all over the world right now, and the world seems to be cascading into horrors, violence, war, sadistic, horrible hostilities, and most of us are just going about our daily lives. I'm lucky to have a husband like you that cares so much, but you're probably pretty pissed at me right now. And can you tell me more? I really want to hear more about how you've been experiencing this and what your thoughts and feelings are. So how was that?
I give it an A+.
Okay, why?
I mean, the disarming was good. The inquiry, you pretty much hit all of them for the 5 secrets, and it didn't feel wordy or anything like that. So I thought it was good.
Okay.
I thought so too. I thought it was an excellent example of what you've described as victory through surrender. That if someone is after you and telling you you're not doing anything, you're not doing enough, you don't care, you just agree with that and see the truth in it. Try to understand better what that's like for them.
Well, why do we get so defensive, Rhonda? I'm not saying you get defensive, but why do we human beings get so defensive and find it so difficult to do this?
Maybe because deep down we're hurt and we don't want to be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And show the sad side of ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And why don't we want to be vulnerable and show the hurt side of ourselves?
Because, of course, I want to hear what Matt and you have to say, but because it opens us up to even more hurt and more pain. And also, we want to be, I'm just making gross overgeneralizations, but people want to appear strong and capable, and maybe showing a vulnerable side throws that into doubt, our strength.
Sure. I think that's a good one. You have any ideas, Matt?
I think there are many different reasons why people are reluctant to offer this type of vulnerable communication. I think you posted maybe 36 reasons
mm-hmm.
not to do this in the last podcast notes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think one possibility is that when people are angry about something, it's kind of like a weird invitation to intimacy. Like your husband's also not vulnerably stepping up to you and saying, I'm feeling kind of sad and alone and disturbed and upset about what I'm reading here. He's coming at you with a bit of some anger, saying you're not doing enough. And we'll communicate in what feels like a safer way to communicate, but it actually throws us off. It feels like an attack. And of course, we can get caught up in this idea that we have some self that could be bad or good. And then so we'll defend that pretend self. imagining that that's what we need to do, that we'll die or something if we're, not defending this thing called a self, when that's precisely what we need to allow to happen, is to allow that to self to die, and to acknowledge where we failed and let someone
down. We think
we'll
lose face if we admit that we screwed up.
Right.
That we'll lose face, and be attacked more, like Rhonda was saying.
Right.
Gosh, Matt, I love that you say that. I think people feel that anger is a lot of people feel that anger is a more comfortable expression or feeling to have than vulnerability or hurt. And when you first said anger is kind of an invitation to intimacy, I thought, what? But as you explained it, it just makes so much sense that it's so much easier for a lot of us to come at it with anger, masking our hurt and vulnerability. And if we look past that anger and see that what's underneath it, like even the music underneath the anger, then and acknowledge that vulnerability and the pain and the loneliness, like David did in his 5 Secrets role play with Brittany, then that's just such a huge opening for closeness and intimacy. But also it's hard because when someone comes at us with anger that they're using to mask these other more vulnerable feelings, it still hurts.
We could practice that. We have kind of a round robin feared fantasy and try to say outrageously hostile things to each other and see if we can respond in a vulnerable as opposed to defensive way. If anyone would like to try that on for practice.
That sounds challenging.
Really challenging.
Yeah, I'm scared, but
me too.
Willing to fail.
So that's a yes, and that's yes. How about you, Brittany?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Do you want to start it off? Would you like to be the attacked or the attacker, Brittany?
I'll be the attacker.
Attacker. Okay.
Yeah.
And who you attacked me, so let's get this time you can attack Rhonda or Matt, and then we'll do round robin. We'll go around and each of us can attack the next one, and then we'll grade the responses.
Okay.
So who do you want to attack, Matt or Rhonda?
I'll do Rhonda.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So Rhonda, if I can't change your mind, then there's no purpose in talking to you anymore about this.
Wow, Brittany.
Say it again because I didn't get it.
Oh, okay. If I can't change your mind, then there's no point in talking to you anymore about this.
Just writing it down. Yeah, I am feeling pretty stuck in my position, and I can see that there probably isn't going to be any point in talking to it if I'm stuck in my position. What I'm really loving is hearing your passion and your commitment to this conversation that we're having and the topic about it. And I'm really admiring your dedication and your passion. I love that about you.
Okay. What grade did you give yourself?
Well, I didn't use all 5 secrets. And I'd give myself a B. But it was kind of purposeful not using all the 5 secrets, but I still give myself a B.
Okay. What did you give it, Matt?
Probably similar to maybe a B minus. I felt a little bit brushed away there,
mm-hmm.
and wanted a little bit more, expression of a desire to get closer.
I know. I struggle with that, Matt.
And,
you're right.
And acknowledging, I'm feeling a little distant too. I liked how David was using those kinds of,
mm-hmm.
I'm really glad we're talking about this because it's kind of been in the air between us and so awkward and uncomfortable. I'm really looking forward to connecting with you again. I've been feeling kind of lonely, but you're telling me, I'll just go ahead and do my response. You're telling me that there's just no point talking to me
Right. I
And
said that.
I've been
Yep, you're right about that.
stubborn, and it must be so frustrating for you. You must be so angry with me that I'm just not acknowledging you and acknowledging uh, your point of view. What has that been like for you?
How was that, Rhonda?
That was really good.
Okay, and why? What was the main difference?
Well, Matt is actually interested in continuing the conversation, and I'm stubbornly refusing to.
Right.
And wants to be closer to the person, and I'm willing to walk away from it.
Right.
And Matt, just generated much, much more warmth and putting himself in the place of this other person's thoughts and feelings.
Yeah. And Rhonda, what is one emotion that no therapist in the United States has ever acknowledged and will never be able to acknowledge or willing to acknowledge?
Could that be anger?
Yes, that could be. And it sounded like Brittany was pretty angry, right?
Yeah.
And so, would you say you shared, you acknowledged that? And
I did not. I shared her anger, but I did not acknowledge it.
Yeah. Yeah.
B-. That's the worst score I've ever gotten on the podcast, almost. But well deserved, I have to say.
Oh, nice. I
feel kind of guilty now for.
No, I'm really glad.
Yeah,
well deserved.
Let's try a kind of role reversal here. And Rhonda, you say that thing to Brittany. But by the way, folks, I hope we're not boring you. And if we are, remember what the Buddha said: go screw yourself. The thing is that this is the kind of fine tuning you have to do if you want to learn the 5 secrets, particularly to be able to use it when you need it, when you're in the heat of a battle. But try a role reversal.
And before that, I'm looking at the time, and I have to run to another meeting here in just a couple of minutes. But I want to really thank Brittany for creating this opportunity, and thank you, David and Rhonda, for welcoming me back to the show. I really enjoy our time
Matt.
together.
Thank you so much for joining us and adding your wisdom.
Yeah. Have a good one, Matt. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Till next time. Okay.
Till next time.
Bye.
Oh, too bad I couldn't attack Matt.
Yeah.
Okay, Brittany.
You can attack me, Rhonda.
Well, do you want me to do a role reversal with Brittany, and then we can attack you? Okay. Brittany, if I can't change your mind, there's really no point in talking to you about this.
Yeah, I could see how you would be frustrated and not want to continue a conversation with me. I'm feeling a little frustrated too, that we're not able to connect on this issue and agree on it. But I'm also kind of happy that we're not agreeing on it, because it kind of gives us an opportunity to talk a little more and be maybe a little bit more vulnerable with each other. Is that kind of how you're feeling too, or are you not wanting to talk anymore?
Well, Brittany, you did a way better job than I did.
It still didn't feel great.
Why?
She acknowledged how she could see that I would be.
To her.
Oh, Brittany, you acknowledged that how you could understand how I was frustrated. You said that you were frustrated, but you also said that you were happy that we weren't connecting because we could be vulnerable with each other and more open. And that's sort of a implied stroking. And then you asked me if that was how I was feeling too, which gave me the opportunity to continue the conversation. I would have loved it if you had followed it with more of an open-ended question, because sometimes yes or no questions end the conversation.
Right.
But clearly you want to be close to this person and continue the dialogue. And I love that.
Awesome. So Rhonda now attacked David.
We've talked about this a long time, and I just want you to know you're dead wrong. And it's getting really frustrating, and I don't even know if I can have dinner with you anymore.
Actually, we've never had dinner together.
Okay, lunch.
Yes, we did have lunch a year and a half ago. But you're telling me I'm dead wrong, and in addition to that, I'm almost dead. I'm 81 years old, so I'm kind of dead in a couple of ways. But in fact, I'm so often wrong. The older I get, the more times I can see I'm way off based, and it sounds like you're pretty mad at me and pretty frustrated with me too, and that makes me sad because I think the world of you, Rhonda. Can you maybe tell me a little bit more about your thinking and your point of view, and as well as how it feels to interact with this rigid version of David? I can imagine that's really pissing you off and irritating you and frustrating you. I'm ready. I'm ready to listen because I really care about you, and I want to understand your thinking and feelings. Can you tell me a little bit more? What you're saying is incredibly important, and I'm ready to listen.
Well, what did you think of that, Brittany?
I give it an A. I think what really sealed it for me was the inquiry for sure, but then also just saying I'm ready to listen. I feel like anybody would want to continue after hearing that.
I know.
Any way I could have improved it, Rhonda?
Really? Any way you could have improved that? Is that really an honest question? No, absolutely not. I think, even adding the humorous comment about you're 81, you're dead in a lot of ways, it just kind of takes the tension out of the space and leaves it more a more willingness to engage in the discussion. And you just express, in your examples with Brittany, in this example, you'd come off as it's just like this huge source of love and compassion. And when you come off just emitting love and compassion, it's the only response can be love and compassion in return. And that's amazing. And it's to be on the receiving end of that feels amazing.
Yeah, the huge battle is between the joys of intimacy and feeling close to people, and then this other force that pulls us into defensiveness and arguing and wanting to do battle and wanting to feel like victims and wanting to feel morally superior to these bad other people. And I just think that human beings that were evolutionarily programmed to have both of these kinds of responses, and they're both tremendously powerful. And I just worry I don't know which one is gonna win out. The forces of darkness seem to be gaining power almost every day, and that probably just sounds incredibly stupid and elderly and boring and pompous or something, but it just seems like every now and then the world descends into war and chaos and maybe world war, and I'm just afraid we're heading in that direction again, both in the U.S. as well as all these battles around the U.S. around the world going on. But anyway, let's just focus on trying to heal ourselves. That's what the prophets or wise people have always said. Try to look within and that try healing yourself instead of healing other people. Somebody said that. I don't even know who. Probably someone named Jim. or Susan. But it's my turn to attack you. So give me something to attack you with. Give me something really hard.
You're talking to Brittany now or me?
Brittany.
Oh, maybe it's a waste of time talking to you.
It's always so what, tiring?
It's a waste of time talking to you.
Oh yeah. Could I talk to you for a minute, Brittany?
Sure.
I didn't want to hurt your feelings or anything, but I just wanted to let you know that it's just such a waste of time trying to talk to you.
Oh wow. Well, it's hurtful to hear you say that, but I can see from what you said that I must have done something that would anger you, and I really like talking to you and I respect you, so your opinion of me is important. Could you tell me what I've done in the past that turned you off to make you think that?
Let me see if I got it right. I can see that I must have done or said something wrong. I really like talking to you. Can you tell me what turned you off? Is that correct, or did I get part of it wrong?
Oh, I think I said something in there, but I've always respected you, and
it's hurtful to hear you say that.
Yeah.
Oh, did you say that?
Yeah, that was like one of the first things I think I said.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's just go through it point by point. I can see I must have done something wrong. That's an excellent disarm. I like talking to you, and I've always respected you, and it hurts to hear you say that. And so that's stroking and an I feel statement. Can you tell me what turned you off? That's a great inquiry. And so the only area where I'd mark you down, and unfortunately the highest grade I can give when you miss this area is a B minus. What is the everything else was A plus, but you missed some. What did you miss, Brittany?
Oh, I didn't acknowledge the anger.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? It wasn't like disguise. It's such a waste of time trying to talk to you.
Yeah.
So see if you can add an anger acknowledgement to that.
Okay, you want me to redo the whole thing?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, any way you want to do it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. It's hurtful to hear you say that. But I can tell that you're angry with me, and I've always really respected you and enjoyed talking with you. So, would you mind telling me what I said that turned you off?
Okay, and then let's let Rhonda critique that one.
That was pretty short. So I can tell you're angry with me. I've always respected you. Would you mind telling me what I said that turned you off?
Yeah, you got my feelings there. How did you do on the I feel statements?
Right. You did.
Sorry.
You did the feeling empathy. I can tell you're angry with me. I guess we could say this. I have always respected you as stroking. And you did a great inquiry. Would you mind telling me what I said that turned you off?
Yeah, there was no Brittany there. It was everything else was good, but you're back into Parrotville.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't feel genuine.
Let me parrot you to show you. I'll give you an extreme parroting thing.
Okay.
So to in the hopes of getting you to kind of be attuned to that and then make it easier to stop doing it. But just hit me with short one sentence hostile criticisms.
Okay.
I'm going to sound like a parrot now with no I feel statements.
Okay, you're so stupid.
Yeah, you're saying I'm so stupid, and you're probably very angry with me.
You don't. You
Say it again.
You don't even listen.
Yeah, you're saying that I don't listen, and you're probably frustrated.
You're not thinking right. You don't have critical thinking skills.
Yeah, you say I don't have critical thinking skills, so you're probably annoyed with me. How do you feel, ladies?
It feels okay.
Do you recommend this style?
It doesn't feel finished. It just feels like, and what.
Oh, and a moment ago you said that something else that you were annoyed with me about.
And what's that?
What was that?
I don't remember.
Oh, what I'm missing is the love.
Yeah.
Well, right, but don't you notice that there's no I feel statements?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't share your feelings, you sometimes invite further abuse. But
it's irritating, actually.
Yeah, that's the point I was trying to make. For some reason, I didn't make it very well, but that is the point. But hit me with the same thing that I hit you with, Brittany.
What was it again?
Such a waste of time trying to talk to you.
Oh, yeah, it's such a waste of time trying to talk to you.
I hate hearing that, Brittany, because I have to plead guilty as accused right now. I think you're absolutely right. I was just getting kind of annoyed and defensive and not, paying any attention to what you were trying to say or how you were thinking and feeling. I can imagine you're pretty damn pissed off at me. And I'm feeling kind of embarrassed and ashamed right now. And I'd love it and be so grateful if you'd tell me more about how you're feeling and what it's like when I get like that, because I know I do that sometimes, and I'm sure it's incredibly annoying. If I didn't care for you so much, I wouldn't be feeling so ashamed.
There's the David we love. When you teach the 5 secrets, or when it's written, you start with disarm, feeling, thought, empathy, inquiry, I feel statements. But in these examples, you're speaking, you're really starting with your feelings, with the I feel statement, and maybe that's the place to start when we're talking about something like political or charge like this, because it just carries with it so much warmth that it takes all the tension out of the balloon and
good points. Yeah.
What did you think, Brittany?
Yeah, it definitely felt like he checked his ego and he was on the same level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even at the end when you said, if I didn't care for you so much, I wouldn't be feeling so ashamed. I just felt so important to you. So valued. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, that would make me want to continue talking.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, not just continue talking, but continue being in the relationship. Like when Matt gave me the B-, I think I deserved for the person I was talking to not want to continue being in a relationship with me. And this is an opening for more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you want to, before you can do any of this, you have to have a desire to improve the relationship with the other person. And of course, that's the rub, because a lot of the world would rather do battle and argue and get defensive and try to get back at at the other person. Let's give it one last try here, and the idea of what's it. Deliberate practice is you just keep doing role reversals until you get up to the level you want to be at, and that's this new hot fad called deliberate practice. But that's all it really amounts to, is you keep practicing back and forth until you hit the ball through the hoop. So could I talk to you for a minute, Brittany?
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to tell you that it's a total waste of time trying to talk to you.
Oh man, it's painful to hear you say that, because I really want you to see me in a positive light. And when you say things like that, I worry about, our relationship, that you won't want to tell me things anymore and be vulnerable with me. And I just love you so much that I don't want to lose what we have. And but I could see that you would be feeling angry towards me, for not listening. And I think I'm ready to listen now, though. And would you tell me more about what it's been like to talk to me and how I respond?
Yeah. I thought that was beautiful. Did you acknowledge that I was angry with you?
Yeah, in the middle I did.
Yeah, then I'd say it probably has everything. And when you said I worry and don't want to lose what we have, I really love you and don't want to lose what we have, and I'm ready to listen now, and it's painful to hear. I want you to see me in a positive light. Did you disarm?
I don't know if I did, now that I think about it.
That would have been, how would you disarm, add a disarm? It's such a waste of time trying to talk to you.
I could see why you wouldn't want to continue a conversation with me.
That's a half a disarm.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't think of what you said.
How would you disarm it, Rhonda?
Oh my gosh, you're totally right. It is a total waste of time trying to talk to me. I've been stubborn. I haven't listened. I've turned you down. I've been belittling. Even if I haven't said belittling things, I've been thinking them. So they're probably pouring out of my cells, my pores. And I'm so embarrassed about that, because in reality, I love you very much. I have so much respect for you. And I haven't really been paying attention to the depth of what you've been saying. And you have every right to be angry at me. And I'm feeling embarrassed. I'm feeling ashamed and kind of silly that I'm standing on my high horse and not being willing to listen to you. And I would really love it if you would tell me how you're feeling right now and how you've been feeling lately in our relationship. Because every time you've brought this conversation up, I've shut you down. And I could just really imagine how annoying and angry that is. And just like I said, I care about you so much. If I didn't care about you, I wouldn't be putting this much effort into our relationship, and everything you are to me is really worth it. So please let me know what you're feeling.
Yeah, I'd have to give that one an A+. I gave yours, Brittany, a solid A, and a little disarming. It would have put also, like Rhonda's, into A+ territory. Yeah, I have been stubborn and hard to talk to, and I'm ashamed to have you point that out, because I see what you mean now, and you're absolutely right. And then the rest of what you said was just fantastic.
Thank you.
Let's get we have to bring this to closure, and I want to get your response to having you on the show, and what did you like and what didn't like, and was this helpful? and see if we can get some homework for you. But just to say that we were trying on today's show, again, to go over the 5 secrets of effective communication. And we have some real experts here today, including Brittany. And yet there were a lot of errors made. There's a lot of room for practice. And this would be the equivalent of if you're playing the piano, this is how you practice, between lessons or during lessons, learning how to really use the 5 secrets and do the fine tuning. And it's a simple exercise. You get a partner and ask them to say something to you that somebody says to you that you didn't handle very well, and then you try to respond in an improved way using the 5 secrets of effective communication. That's step 2. And then step 3, ask the other person to give you a letter grade, A, B, C, D, and say, here's what you did that was really good, here's what worked, and here's what didn't work, here's what might need a little bit of improvement. And then you just keep doing role reversals until you get up to an A grade. And that is something that can be done, but you have to be patient. How was this for you, Brittany? I just grabbed you because I thought it would be, in the first place, really fun to see you again after a couple of years, and you work on things in such an elegant way. And I just thought it'd be fun to see what's like to take a podcast fan and bring that person on the show, and then practice. And what was it like for you to be on the show and to do the practicing?
Oh, it's been awesome. I mean, a huge honor that you asked me. Of course, I was anxious, about it, but just getting to practice with you in person is it's so helpful. And then even at the end, I was still falling back into my parroting ways, as you pointed out.
Yeah.
So you constantly have to practice.
Yeah, that's neat. Well, thank you so much. And maybe this will open up around a new angle for us, maybe do some interactions with some of our fans in real time.
That would be great. I'm sure a lot of people would love to be on the podcast.
Yeah. So,
well, David, I really want to thank you for opening our eyes, my eyes in particular, to how you would have a discussion with someone who really is on the opposite side of a political conversation with you.
Or any conversation for that matter.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Or any kind of a charged conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we get charged up all the time. I mean, humans are pretty pathetic. I mean, animals get charged up, but they generally have a better reason.
Yeah.
And then we wear our egos on our sleeves, and we're trying so hard to impress people or to be lovable or perfect or be this ideal self, like what Matt was saying. Well, thank you all for listening. And Rhonda, it's always a joy working with you. I'm so grateful to have you in my life, personally and professionally. And you give so much to so many people, not only through the podcast, but in your clinical work and your organization of conferences around the world to bring people together. It's pretty mind-blowing.
Oh gosh,
and thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Brittany, for coming on and being brave and pioneering some new directions for us.
Yeah, thank you both.
Gosh, David, and again, thank you for creating this model, for being willing to teach it, for creating this podcast with Fabrice and continuing it over the years. It's 5 years old now. And,
is that right?
Mm-hmm, and, I don't know anyone else who has created something as intensely important as you have, a new, model of therapy, who gives away so much of their intelligence and their care and their energy as you do. And, on behalf of everyone who's benefited from Team CBT, and that's probably tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people, I thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you. You're very welcome, everybody. We're all kind of lucky, especially when we're getting along.
True.
Okay. Have a good one. Bye-bye, everybody.
Josh, this is episode 375, and here are your 10 seconds of silence. You guys are really funny.
Hello, Rhonda.
Hello, David, and welcome to all our listeners around the world, in this country and throughout the galaxy. This is the Feeling Good podcast, and this is episode 375. And while we have a full episode planned, we also have a very delicious guest, Jacob Towery, who's going to be talking to us about his free upcoming 2-day workshop that he's entitled Finding Humans Less Scary. Hi, Jacob.
Awesome.
Hi, thank you, Rhonda and David, for having me. I think probably my left arm is the most delicious, but other parts of my body are somewhat flavorful, but I recommend people try the left arm.
Left. That will fit in. So Jacob, tell us about what Finding Humans Less Scary is all about.
Yeah, so with David's help, last year we premiered this event, which we're calling Finding Humans Less Scary. And we had about 90 participants and about 10 co-therapists. And the whole weekend was designed to help people overcome social anxiety. And we had a lot of fun, and people seemed to really enjoy it. And perhaps even more important, a number of people said it changed their life. It was transformative. People have emailed Michael Luo and I throughout the year saying how much it's helped them or ways they've noticed their lives being better. So that's been extremely rewarding. And we decided we wanted to do it again. So we're doing at least one more round, March 16th and 17th of 2024. And if people want to sign up, they can go to findinghumanslessscary.com.
And what is that, a Saturday, Sunday event again?
Saturday, Sunday. Yes, we're going to pack in about 15 hours of material into a weekend.
That's exciting. Now, let's say I've got social anxiety and I need a transformative thing to change my life on March 16th and 17th. I'm sure anything with that kind of quality is very expensive. How costly is this?
We're charging $17,000 for the first 10 minutes, but then if you stay beyond 10 minutes,
the rest is a discount. Yeah,
the rest is $16,000 per 10 minutes.
Yeah, yes,
so the whole
fantastic.
thing will be $26.9 million, but we think it's still a good value, and we wanted to make it available to any billionaires within the Palo Alto area.
Yeah, right. But what's the actual?
The actual cost is zero. We are asking people to make a $20 or more donation to one of the listed charities. So I took your advice, and instead of coming up with a controversial charity, which would have been easy, we've got Doctors Without Borders, Save the Children, Give Well. We've got some really good charities that help a lot of people and are pretty non-controversial. And people can, of course, make a much bigger donation. We want it to be a fundraiser too, but we thought at $20, that will keep it pretty accessible for people. And we will get $0. And we want to make it affordable for anyone who wants to join.
Yeah, it just sounds fantastic. You're one of the top experts in the world on the treatment of social anxiety. I should say the rapid and profoundly effective treatment of social anxiety. And at no cost. They always say the best things in life are free or nearly free. And this is certainly one of the best things in life. If you're listening and you're struggling with social anxiety, there's 5 kinds of social anxiety. Should we see if we can name them?
Yeah, I don't even know if I can name all of them. I might be able to name a few, but we could get started. One of them has with the bladder. That's one I probably don't spend a lot of time focusing with people, but if they have trouble urinating and
shy bladder, I've had that one. Public speaking anxiety.
Yep.
Just shyness per se, getting awkward and dating or around strangers. That's
I don't
probably
know if we put performance anxiety in a separate one, or if we link it with public speaking.
No, that's a separate one. Yeah, performance anxiety. And let's see, there's shy bladder, performance anxiety. Oh yeah, just shyness. And what's the other one? Test anxiety is considered.
Yeah.
Um,
We decided we're just going to do test anxiety for that weekend. So we brought 17 different SAT tests, and we're just going to have people take SAT tests for 7 hours the first day and 8 hours the second day. So it's going to be really exciting. Come with a number 2 pencil, and we're just going to be all about the test anxiety.
And for a shame attacking exercise, you have to announce your score in public.
Okay.
Well, tell us a little about it. I know it's going to be tremendous fun and zany, but serious business, and the business of learning not to be so anxious. I've had all of these forms of social anxiety, and I know how miserable and intense they can be, and lonely too. Can you tell us about some of the fun and amazing stuff that will be happening in these two action-packed, laugh-filled, tears-filled, wonderful days?
Yeah, Rhonda was there when we did it this year, and she was awesome. I think it will be all of the things you said. I think a lot of people do suffer from social anxiety, and they feel lonely, and it can be very disabling and very isolating for people. So we want to acknowledge that and make room for people to acknowledge that it's a very potentially disabling disorder. And also people can make profound progress in changing it very quickly. That's one of my favorite things about it, is you get to see real quick change. So a lot of people were really brave this year and worked on their performance anxiety. So we had people come up and play musical instruments. We had people show their art. We had a very brave teenager who was worried she might look foolish when she was running hurdles. So I had her run some imaginary hurdles for everyone to watch, and she did awesome with it. And we had people conquer some of their public speaking anxieties. We did a ton of activities, practically all of them I learned from you. So we're going to make it even more behavioral this year. We had a big cognitive component this year. Next year, I think we're going to be super behavioral. We'll add in some rejection training. So we'll hit the streets of Palo Alto and do some rejection training, plus smile and hello practice and shame attacking exercises and self-disclosure and lots of fun stuff. So I think it's going to be a really cool weekend.
That's really neat. I'm doing a social anxiety talk with Jill at the Evolution of Psychotherapy conference in Anaheim in December, and she reminded me of something that's just super obvious if you do the downward arrow, the interpersonal downward arrows, that there's two components to shyness. One is the component that, I'm not interesting enough and people will reject me and I'm not good enough and all of that kind of thing. But the other half of that coin is related to the title of your workshop. I'm assuming that people are very hostile and judgmental and that it's dangerous in the world. And so I think two of the things that people can discover with this kind of training is not only that you can suddenly find the courage and the ability to talk to people, strangers, and form warm, close connections, but also, although these days we see the horrors happening all around the world, the wars, the hatred that's building politically and internationally and across religious groups, there's still, most human beings are tremendously kind and warm and welcoming. And that's one of the beautiful things about getting over your shyness, your social anxiety. Suddenly a beautiful world filled with beautiful people opens up. And it's like magic, really.
Yeah, well said. I agree with all of that. And I should run soon, but I'll say in addition to that, I think that it's so tempting for us to other people and to find, oh, this person is different from me in this way or different from me in that way and bad in this way and bad in that way. And I think that leads to tremendous problems. So one of the messages of Finding Humans Less Scary is another option is to focus on what are the things that you have in common with other people, what are the things you can like and appreciate about other people. And when you do that, there's no need to other people and put them in groups of bad categories, which leads to hate and violence and all sorts of problems. So I'm also hoping there's kind of a ripple effect in terms of how people experience the world themselves, but also how they treat other people, which can affect how those people treat other people. So we're hoping for a big effect.
That's really neat. Another thing that Jill was emphasizing that I thought was really helpful is that when you're shy, you're thinking you're not interesting enough, and so you're worried about impressing other people, which never works, and virtually always leads to rejection. And again, just a simple thing that she said, and it's probably not even original with her, I don't know, but she said the secret of being a social butterfly is not to be interesting, but to be interested.
Absolutely.
And just such a subtle thing. And then there's the talk show host technique. And really the secret of talking to strangers is to express an interest in them and compliment them and ask them and express an interest in who they are and what they're doing. And it's a very simple concept, which a lot of shy people would dismiss before you've totally grasped it, but it can be mind-blowing and life-changing. And I just know that you combine three things, brilliant therapeutic skills, a zany and fantastic sense of humor, and the creative ability to make the serious fun and funny. And among other things, you're the world's top shame attacking expert and shame attacker. We've had so many wonderful times together. The Stanford Shopping Center and other places doing zany things in public. It's really a chance to uncork your humanness, your joy, your love, your creativity. Don't miss these 2 days. Now, just to make sure people understand that's March 16th and 17th, 2024. That's a Saturday, Sunday. It's a 2-day workshop. And where is it going to be?
So the location will be revealed to those who register. So we'll say it's in Palo Alto, California, but we're being very selective. So even though this is going out to the galaxy, you have to be an Earth dweller if you want to come to this. We discriminate against non-Earth dwellers unless you have a fun outfit. Then you can be from outside of Earth and we'll still accept you.
So where do I go and find the information?
findinghumanslessscary.com. So if you go to findinghumanslessscary.com, it's going to be first come, first served. We'll take up to 100 people, and we're excited to see you if you register.
Okay, and is that one word, Finding Humans Less Scary, all strung together?
All strung together.
FindingHumansLessScary.com. And is that KOM?
.com with a silent Q at the end and a silent W in the middle. So
that's beautiful.
We wanted to just make it simple and easy, no confusion.
FindingHumansLessScary.com. Check it out, folks. The best things in life are free. And this is even better than free because you can give to the charity of your choice, just $20 to help someone out who's hungry, and you'll be in and have 2 of the best days of your life. So thank you, Dr. Jacob Towery.
Thank you for the kind words, David. Thank you guys for having me. You're still the greatest mentor I've ever had, and I'm honored to be on the podcast. So thank you guys. Have a great day.
You're brilliant and a good friend. And have a great one. Thanks.
Thank you. You too.
Bye, Jacob. Thanks.
Bye.
This has been another episode of the Feeling Good podcast. For more information, visit Dr. Burns' website at feelinggood.com, where you will find the show notes under the podcast page. You will also find archives of previous episodes and many resources for therapists and non-therapists. We welcome your comments and questions. If you want to support the show, please share the podcast with people who might benefit from it. You could also go to iTunes and leave a 5-star rating. I am your host, Rhonda Borowski, the director of the Feeling Great Therapy Center. We hope you enjoyed this episode. I invite you to join us next time for another episode of the Feeling Good podcast.